the Western Center for Research on Migration and Ethnic Relations. Immigrant Experiences in Canada.
I came to Canada in 1983. I was pretty young, and it was just a good opportunity for me to, at the time, to get to know other places. And somebody asked me if I could come and help her with her baby. And I was young, fresh out of school, and so I said sure. And my plan was to stay here 1 year. The first year to help and for me to get to know and maybe learn another language. And 1 year turned into 2 and 3, and now I'm 26 here. So that was my experience. It was difficult, especially because of the language. I didn't have any English. So it was difficult, and even though it was a really good experience for me, at the same time it was depressing, after a while when you don't know how to, like not having the language is like being like handicapped kind of, because you can't really go out and say or express yourself or anything. So after a while it was difficult for me, but then that pushed me to learn the language too. And then when I started to speak a little more and a little more, then it would become easier and easier for me.
Did you take any classes? Or?
At the beginning I didn't, because I came with a working visa. So with a working visa I was entitled to go to school only 2 hours a day or something, because I was supposed to be working those 8 hours. And then I live in a small town, and at a small town I think I was the only immigrant with her. We were probably the only Spanish people around, so they didn't have any ESL or anything in that town. So it was very difficult for me to go to a bigger town that was in Alberta. So in order for us to go to Edmonton, we would have to travel like 45 minutes or something to take schooling. So I did, at the beginning I did a lot of correspondence, and at one point I used to hate it. It was difficult to understand, and I've always tried to keep my own little things from Colombia. I try to adapt to things here too, but I will always be like a Colombian person. Yeah, I guess through the years I have made a lot of changes myself, and I have adapted more. Like now I work here, and my kids are here, and I go to, everything I go is within the Canadian community, and I feel comfortable about it. I ended up in London. I live in Alberta. We moved to Edmonton, and then I lived there for about 6 years. And then I have a baby, and then we moved, at that time I have a partner, and we moved to Montreal. Then moving to Montreal, it was a brand new experience for me too, because it was like 6 years later I had to go. It was almost like a brand new country too. So I had to learn French, and at that point I wasn't too, I had a brand new baby and new language and all that, so I had somebody invite me here. And I really like London. It was small, I could speak the language, I had more opportunity to find a job. So I decided to move. We actually moved as a couple. We moved here with the baby. And it's been a good experience in London that way, because and right away I found a job, and I was able to finish my school and I have my other kid here, and I've been here about 19 years now. I didn't come because of the war or anything like that. So with the time, anytime I go back, I just see the difference now. Like I can see the kids, especially for my kids, I think they have more opportunities here, like with the schooling and all that, and safety. I think safety is the biggest issue for me. I still go home every year, every 2 years. I still love to go home, And my daughter one of my daughters live in Colombia. She loves Colombia. So I still send them there. And I don't feel unsafe when I'm there, but at the same time I had to see the reality, So that's mainly why I'm here. There was a point I wanted to move back, but then I had to think of their future. Here I belong to, I have a lot of Spanish friends. We get together once in a while. I go to the Spanish church. I go once in a while to the Spanish store. Not that I won't find anything here. It used to be like that. You had to go. I don't know. I think mainly I keep friends, like Spanish friends, and we get together once in a while and speak the language, listen to the music. I will always miss my family. Always miss my family. And that's how I try to keep the tradition. I have always speak Spanish at home, so the kids keep the Spanish part of it, and then they got to know their family down there. They are also, their father is from El Salvador, so they are also gone to El Salvador and see their family. And I don't know, I guess the closeness of the family, I guess maybe that's the main thing that I miss. I know they say we should, as soon as we get our Canadian citizen, we should feel Canadian, but I will still have my accent. And I feel, I don't know if it's mainly people don't see you as Canadian. Sometimes when they don't know you, they are afraid to talk to you or anything because they probably think, oh, she's not going to understand me or something. Once they pass that, they are pretty good. In some ways I do, in some ways I feel like I can, I'm here, I'm part of the community, I can vote, I can say what I feel, you know, go where I want to go. And in other ways I don't, you know, other ways I feel like, you know, maybe the way I think or something is not the same way. I feel that way now when the kids are growing, you know, I have back in my mind, I have some of the stuff that are from back home, and here there is so many differences. So I think those ways do never change. Well, they say in the big world they are multicultural, and maybe we are because we have so many different cultures in the community. But they are not putting all our things together, like my views and my background and all that. I don't think they are taking that into consideration. They know I'm from Colombia, that's it. I don't know, I have two kids and they both are completely different. So one, I think she thinks she is, they were born here, so they are Canadian, you know. And then they have their friends, they have all their schooling here until high school anyway. And I think my oldest daughter, she still likes home, like Colombia better. And for her, even though she wasn't born there, she really feels home when she's there. And my other daughter, she's more integrated in the schooling and in the place and all that. I don't see, she's only 16 right now, so I think for her it's been easier to be part of the school and to be part of the community. And she actually is pretty good in both communities, in the Spanish one and in the English one. Can belong to both. I plan to retire and maybe go back home. And I wish for my kids when they finish school, you know, when they are in their own, I want to eventually go back and have my retirement days back home. That's my hope.